You're listening to Satellite Sisters.
What's a satellite sister?
The person you call when the best thing in your life happens or the worst.
The person that gets you up, gets you going, and gets you through.
And every once in a while, changes your mind.
This podcast is part pep talk, part weekly check-in.
Like grabbing coffee with a friend.
Thanks for being here. Welcome to the Satellite Sisterhood.
You're listening to Satellite Sisters. We're so happy you're here with us today. I'm Leanne Dolan in Pasadena, California. I'm a podcaster, I'm a producer, I'm a novelist, and I am excited for our sports spectacular today. So our question of the day is, what is your favorite summertime sport? Julie, what do you say?
Okay, that's easy. Marco Polo. Marco Polo. It is my favorite summertime sport. It is fun times, whether you're 8 or 80, right? In the pool. Oh my gosh. Is it funny when those people have their eyes closed and they're trying to find you and they're saying Marco and you say Polo, or you go underwater? If you haven't done it recently, take a plunge and get a group of people together. Marco Polo.
Good one, Jill, from Dallas, Texas. Julie Dolan with the Marco Polo entry. Unexpected. Liz, how about you?
Okay, well, this is Liz. I'm in Bend, Oregon for the summer. And one of the things I do in the summers when I'm in Bend at the big, gorgeous outdoor pool they have, Juniper Pool, they have a water running class, Leanne. But you're tethered to a lane line and you're running with the tether. So especially for me, because I've got the issue with the lefty, my left leg and knee, not perfect. Water running is the perfect summer sport for me. You're outside, you're in the water, not quite as much fun as Marco Polo, but really.
I was going to say, I think you probably could combine a nice game of Marco Polo with the running, the tethered running, but it's up to you.
Marco Polo, Julie, for that's even like the sound of fun.
Yes.
When you hear people yelling, Marco Polo, you just can't help but smile. Brings you right back to childhood.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to say mine also brings me back to childhood. I was a big fan of Capture the Flag at summer camp. And it's been a long time since I've been in a highly competitive Capture the Flag game, but I just have the best memories. At my summer camp in Maine, we used to play in the Christmas tree farm across the street. So imagine like 4th of July with the team colors. Oh, it was an unbelievably fun time. So Capture the Flag, that's what I'm going with. But, as a lifeguard, though, I have to say Marco Polo is super annoying.
Lynn, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You're out. You get out of the pool. You're out of the pool.
You're
okay?
no fun at all.
You're no fun. Okay. Sports is supposed to be fun, Liam.
All right. Today, our whole show is about sports, and we have some big time athletes here. Liz, tell us who's with us today.
Well, joining us today, Sanya Richards-Ross is one of the leading sprinters in the world. She's a member of the broadcast team of the World Track and Field Championships, which happen at the end of this week. We're going to talk some more about that. Plus, she's the newest cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we had a lot of fun talking to Sanya. Wait till you hear.
Great. And then, Julie, you have put together a list of your 7 favorite sports movies.
The best of all times. I have a list of, and I hope it inspires you to watch some of these movies again or see them for the first time. Your favorite sports movie. Think about it. Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking about your family. Is it just Field of Dreams 7 times on that list? Is that
okay, Leanne? We'll discuss it. Hold on. Yes, there's a baseball entry on my list, but I'm not going to say what it is at this moment.
All right. And I've been listening to a great podcast series on the 50th anniversary of Title IX. So I'm going to share details on that. But first, we're just going to have some fun with some more made up sports. Jill, what you got?
Well, these are actual real sports. I was doing some research for this big sports spectacular show. And I thought, what are the trends in sports? What are the new sports that are coming out? And when you Google that, you'll see there's a big long list. Okay. So people are out there all over the world trying to cook up some new sports. But I've identified 3 that I really feel like have a chance to break through and become worldwide and gain worldwide popularity.
Okay.
All right. The first one, Leanne, is really for your family. I know you're all over it. It's the extreme running sport. Okay. Now this is, just think about this. You have runners and they are running in very steep ascents, descents, jungles. How about running at the base camp of Mount Everest? Or in Morocco, or how about in Peru in the Ica Desert, or the Alps, Leanne, or Liz in the Amazon. So think about this. These are it's happening now. These are runners, and they go to these really exotic locales, very difficult. There's months of training involved. But why I think this is going to be a very popular sport is because of drone photography. Because we're going to be able to watch them run through the jungle, or run up hills, or run over sand dunes, and just do these extraordinary things. Doesn't that sound pretty good?
It's great. It sounds visual and dramatic. Sounds like a terrible actual sport, but it sounds. But
no, it's like cross country running, only extremely.
Yes, I get it. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yes,
but very made for TV.
Yes, and I think it could be a really good one. Okay, now my second one. Did you love Red Rover when you were growing up, Lee? And you were talking about Capture the Flag, but did you love the game Red Rover?
Not as much as Capture the Flag.
Oh, well, I am telling you, the whole Indian subcontinent loves Red Rover because they have a game, a sport called kabaddi, it's a contact sport, a team sport, but it's essentially Red Rover that you're playing on a field. One team trying to crash through to the other team. Really, it's okay there, and it's where it's the national sport in Bangladesh. Do you know how many people they have in Bangladesh?
No,
so this is a lot of people. So there are a lot of people that really enjoy kabaddi, and I believe, Liz, this will be another Olympic event.
Great. I like the big group activities kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm for that.
Yeah. Did you enjoy Red Rover? It was a great game. I mean, people always got really hurt, and there was a lot.
I was going to say it was like
crying involved. But
I was slow, and I didn't move well to my left or my right, and that was not great for Red Rover.
Yeah, and it's like Red Rover, let Julie come over, right?
Right. It's personal. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was terrible. Okay.
Well, I'm glad I mentioned that. Okay. And then my third category, because there are a couple of different groups that are working on this. They are anything on a golf course other than golf. Okay. People are working on this. First of all, there's disc golf. Okay. Yeah. With the Frisbee, they're running around, they're going fast. You have these gorgeous golf courses. We have, again, for television, Liz, golf courses look beautiful.
They do.
But it's, it's golf. We have to try to jazz it up a little. So there's a lot of disc golf going on. But the other one that I think could be a real breakthrough sport is soccer golf. So you're using a golf course and you're kicking a ball and you're trying to kick the ball into some hole or a goal.
You're kicking a golf ball?
No, a big soccer ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, so it's soccer golf. You see?
Okay. I get it now. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think golf courses can be like a big waste of space, right?
Exactly.
Well, not to golfers, but to other people who aren't golfers, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. But I think you have these locations all over the world. Okay.
Yes.
And so I think that to do the multi-purpose sports on them, they know how to make all the camera shots. Mm-hmm. And I think that the soccer golf can really catch on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd watch that. I'd watch that once and see how that works. I like
it. Again, though, you need some defenders out there. It can't just be people.
No, you have to shoot the soccer ball into a particular goal.
I get it. But even that doesn't sound that hard if no one's defending you. Right?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You are being really tough, Leanne. You didn't like Marco Polo. Don't like Red Rover. Okay. Don't like soccer golf. Okay. What do you got, sister? I mean, I think these are very.
I'm just going to go. My list was complete too, but I'm just going to go with one because I think last week's show proved that the Satellite Sisters Nation enjoys Cheez-Its. I mean, if there is one rallying point, one common touchstone, it's our love of Cheez-Its as a community. So I saw this sport, cheese rolling. All right. This has happened every year in Gloucester, England. They roll a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese down a hill. Okay. here's the key. Contestants then chase after the cheese. And the first person crossing the finish line at the bottom wins. You get the cheese as a prize. So the sport it really folds in on itself. It's about rolling cheese. You get cheese as a prize. And it might not sound extreme, but apparently the hill is very, very steep and super uneven. And most contestants end up falling down the hill at a tremendous speed and incurring a lot of injuries. But it's England, so everyone's laughing and probably drunk. And it's gaining in popularity. So now just spontaneous cheese rolls are happening all over England without even any oversight, Julie. So
all right.
growing
So no
organic.
officials.
It's the pickleball of England, cheese rolling. So, okay. All right. So Liz, those are our stupid sports, but you've actually been working really hard on a real sport for the last 3 years. And we were going to get behind the scenes a couple of weeks ago. You got sick. People are going to want to know, Liz, how you're feeling, first of all. And then secondly, tell us what's happening, because this is your big week that you've been working for years.
This is it. This is the week. It starts this week. Yes, a couple weeks ago, I had been at the USA, the national championships for track and field. I came home, and the first day I was home, boom, down with COVID. So that's why I missed that show the next day when I was going to tell you everything you needed to know about track and field. But I'll do that today, because yesterday, for the first time in 2 weeks, I tested negative. So
Way to go, Liz.
feeling pretty good. I have like a little bit of a cold left, but I tested myself again today. I just want to stay negative. That's my whole, I want to stay positive by staying negative. That's my goal.
Okay.
But it is true, sisters, that since the beginning of 2019, I have been working on an event that's called the World Athletics Championships. So the first thing you need to know about track and field is that the United States is the only country in the world that calls it track and field. It's
really? I didn't know that. Really?
Yes, Julie. In the rest of the world, track and field is called athletics, which is confusing here because when we use that term, it sort of includes everything. But that's not true in the rest of the world. So when you're trying to market an event and do all the publicity around an event, when you want to call it track and field because that's what people will understand, but the official name of the event is athletics, it's like the metric system. Can't we just all agree on one thing? Can we just all call it athletics or all call it track and field? But no, we can't do that. So anyway, people think that track and field only happens in the Olympics on the largest scale, but that is not true. There is a world championship every other year. So because all of the timing got screwed up for the Olympics because of COVID and everything, the Olympics were supposed to be in 20 and the world championships were supposed to be in 21, and everything got moved back a year. That's why I ended up working on this for a whole extra year. So the World Athletics Championship, Oregon 22, starts this week, starts on Friday, and more than 1,900 athletes from 192 teams from around the world will all come to Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, to compete. It is the biggest sporting event in the world this year, sisters. It's on TV, in every country, and it's basically, if you want to imagine it, it's like the Olympics with no other sports. It's like if okay, that's basically what it is.
All right, that's okay. That sounds good.
And track and field is, one of the most exciting parts of the Summer Olympics anyway. So I'm fine with no other sports because track and field itself has so many different sports within it. You see, like you're talking about all those crazy sports. Well, think about how crazy it is to like throw a javelin. Sometimes you're on the field and there are these shot puts flying and javelins flying. I'm like, who thought this up? This does not seem safe. So it has the crazy factor built right into it, which I like. People from all over the world participate, which I like. It's like every body type because you have the distance runners and the sprinters and the shot putters and like pretty much there's something for everyone in track and field. So the last World Championships, which was supposed to be 2 years ago, but was actually 3 years ago, as I explained, that was in Doha, Qatar in 2019. And sisters, you may remember, I attended that.
Yes.
Yes, we do. And you reported on that on Satellite Sisters.
did.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did. That was very
Wow, I
exciting.
totally forgot that, Liz. Yeah.
I know.
Okay, good. Good point.
Seems like a million years
Yes,
ago.
it does.
It
does.
does.
Like last century. Yeah. Okay, good.
It is. So that was very exciting to go to. And that was actually the first ever track and field world championships I ever attended, even though it happens every other year. So it was super exciting. And for our US based listeners, which is most of you, one other really great thing about the World Track and Field Championships is that the United States always wins.
We are very, very good in track and field.
We are
Yeah.
very deep in all of the events, whether it's sprinting or distance running or shot put, in Doha, for instance, the USA won 14 gold medals and 29 medals in all. So it's a very yay, rah, rah USA kind of thing, if that's what you're up for. So
Liz, are the Russians going to be competing this year?
no.
Okay.
The Russians are banned from athletics.
Okay.
But another key thing, Julie, is that, believe it or not, this is the first time this world championship has ever happened in the United States. What took so long? You know? So it's never happened in America before. And it's the first time it's happening in, well, we'll just call a small city, Eugene, Oregon. Okay. It's not, it's not
Los
London,
Angeles. Yeah.
Moscow, Qatar, all the other big international cities that have hosted the world championships have been major world capitals. And then there's Eugene, Oregon, which we really just think of as the capital of track and field, right? They call it's called Tracktown USA for a reason. So the whole world is coming to Tracktown USA this week. Actually, I was just thinking about it this morning when I woke up. All of the athletes are already here somewhere from all over the world because they come into the Pacific Northwest a week or a month early. They all have training camps. So if you were going around colleges all over Oregon and Washington, you'd probably see their teams who have been there for 2 or 3 weeks, getting used to the climate, getting used to the food, getting used to the time zone. So that's kind of cool that they all come in early and they're practicing all over this part of the country. Then they'll all show up in Eugene, they'll be rolling in today or so. So that's, I think, another very cool part of it.
Are the athletes staying on campus, Liz?
Yes.
Is it like an Olympic Village there at the U of O? Okay.
Yes. So the
Right.
university, another thing that's never happened before is that it's actually a university is hosting the event because Hayward Field is part of the University of Oregon. It's not a privately owned facility the way most of these facilities are. So that's pretty unusual. And so the Athlete Village is on campus. The US team is staying separately. They have their own hotel. But as a member of the board of directors, I've seen all the drawings of the athlete lounges and I've checked out their menus. I mean, it's logistically a crazy thing to put on something like this for 10 days. I was watching Wimbledon the other day, Julie, over the weekend, and I was thinking, God, it must be great to run a sporting event where there's only one sport. I just
Right.
Because when you're putting on a big track and field event, you have all the field events, all the jumping, all the different running, from your races that take 9 seconds to marathon through the streets of Eugene and Springfield, Oregon. There's just a lot of moving parts. So anyway, I've been on the board of directors from the very beginning. They were very committed from the beginning to make sure that the board of directors represented men and women equally, and it's also racially diverse. So that was a really important part of organizing this whole event in the United States for the first time. But I also work on the marketing for the event. And I'll tell you, the marketing is a lot more fun. Being on the board, okay, every day for the past, 4 months, I've woken up worried about wildfires in Oregon. I mean, that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of thing that you worry about if you're on the board. What would actually stop the event from happening and be bad for the athletes? So luckily, as I speak this to you, nothing is burning in Oregon right now. I'm hugely relieved. Anyway, so the board of directors, you work on, the security plan and all of that kind of stuff. On the marketing side, which I've been doing, it's much more fun because then you're working with the athletes and like young track and field athletes. I mean, everyone's like between the age of like 18 and say 35. They're super nice, very fun to work with. They're not, even though most of these athletes are at the top of their game worldwide, obviously that's why they're coming to the World Championships. The good news and the bad news is they're not as famous as athletes in a lot of other sports. So they really, even though they're like multi-time gold medal winners, they love working with you. They want to promote their sport. They want to get out there. So a lot of what I've been doing is sort of helping to tell the athlete stories so that people can start to get excited about all these great young competitors. And another good thing for the US is that not only do we have a really great team, we have a super young team. So the athletes you're going to see in the next couple of weeks at the World Championships will probably be at the Paris Olympics, and will probably be at the Los Angeles Olympics.
So pay attention. Yes.
Get to know them. You got to get on board with your people now, Julie. Right.
All right. I okay.
You can pick your favorites now, and you're going to be able to stay with them through a lot of their career because a lot of them are like 21, 22 now. And we'll talk about some of the athletes with Sanya. But anyway, so that's been really fun working with the athletes. But then the other thing that I was particularly interested in is who tells the stories. There's not a lot of press covering track and field right now. And, whereas in the 80s, probably every newspaper in America had like a beat reporter who covered track and field. They would cover high school, college, and professional track. Well, most newspapers are gone now. And so a lot of the people that used to write all those stories are gone now, or it's the same old people as it ever was. And so we kind of noticed early on that the press corps that covers track and field tends to be pretty old, pretty white, and pretty male. And so for the last 3 years, I've been working on a program. It's called the Magic Boost to sort of train up the young storytellers who love track and field, but a more diverse group of people to be in the media, and more women, more people of color. And so we've been running this training program. Now we've had 2 full summers of running it. And it's great because we went out, people had to apply, but we found people like, 21-year-olds with a YouTube channel that was completely devoted to track and field. But because they were just YouTubers, they never got invited to like big time track and field meets. So we started inviting them to come professionally cover these events. We did that for the first time last summer. And now this summer, almost all of the young people that we trained last summer got actual jobs covering the event this summer. So now
that's great, Liz. How
for
fun
you.
and how satisfying.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so satisfying. I can't even tell you. Like at the USA's, that where the media hangs out, it's called the mixed zone. And that's where if you watch the athletes like exit the field, they always have to talk to one person, right? But then once they go through that tunnel and come out the other side, that's where the mixed zone is. And that's where all of the journalists are standing in these big scrums waiting to ask the athletes questions. And like 3 years ago, if you looked at the faces in the mixed zone, as I said, it was not diverse at all. It was very male and it was very old. And at USA's, all of a sudden, we had all these new young faces asking really great questions. They're super knowledgeable about the sport, but they're also, honestly, I just got to say, they're just having more fun with it. They're not grumpy. I think there was a grumpy factor in the press corps that we were just trying to address with a little youthful enthusiasm. Or as we said in our planning for this, we wanted to it's a young person's sport and we wanted to give it a young person's voice.
Well,
So-
hopefully we'll hear different kinds of stories and different comments from the athletes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
guess what, Julie? The athletes also react to them differently.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
I would say if you're talking with someone your same age versus someone that's 40 years older than you, you
Yeah.
might
Yeah. So
handle
this
it differently.
program, there was a young journalist, his name is Chris Chavez. He was working for Sports Illustrated covering track and field, but also running his own, website, podcast, YouTube channel called Sidious on the side, which was just hardcore track for the hardcore fan. But as a young Hispanic man, he's the one that came to us and said, there's nobody who looks like me in the mix zone. And I think we need to start addressing that for the long-term health of the sport. So it was with Chris Chavez of Sidious Mag and a journalism professor at the University of Oregon named Lori Shantz, who runs a whole course on how to cover track and field. We put together this class that we've been running, as I say, like the last 2 summers straight through. And it's just super satisfying to see how they've stepped up into these jobs. And in the Facebook page, as the world champs start, I'll put some of the things they're posting there. Anyway, so that's been the most fun. I mean, it's all been fun, but now it's really go time. But just seeing all these new voices of the sport and these new young athletes that America is just going to get to know and will be able to follow for the next, through to the LA Olympics. That's basically what I've been doing since 2019, sisters.
Yeah. And it's all coming to fruition this in the next couple of weeks. It's exciting, Liz. That's great. That's great. I hope people will watch with new eyes, knowing that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Fresh eyes. Oh, one more cool thing to watch for during the World Champs. We're doing something that's never been done before at the Olympics or at any World Champs. Sisters, it's called instant medals. That's what we're doing. Instant medals. So the moment you cross the finish line, first, second, or third, boom, you're going to get your medal right there. Really?
Yes.
So you're not going to have the big medal ceremony?
There will be a medal ceremony later, with the flag and the anthem and all of that. But the moment we wanted the athletes to have their medals for their victory lap.
That's a great idea. That's so fun.
Yes, so fun. Not my idea, but I was fully on board the moment. Anything that's better for the athletes, that's more fun for the athletes, I think that's what we should be doing, right? The sportocrats don't get to make all the decisions. So they'll be able to do their victory lap with the flag of their country, which they always have, and also their medal right there on them. And I think that covers, they're so joyful in that moment. I'm really looking forward to that. So watch for that on the TV coverage, because that's something you will have never seen before.
Oh, that's
good
neat.
tip. Yes.
That's neat.
Okay.
All right. So Liz, just one note though, I'm thinking out loud here. It's like a production meeting out loud. You should really put a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Yes.
I mean, our Facebook page is great, but you should also feel free to post away over at Sat Sisters on Instagram. That would be fun too, to see some of your stuff.
That's what I'll do.
I don't mean to give you more work, but
no. Liam asked me the other day, so what do you actually do with the World Champs?
Right.
I mean, the thing is, most of my work is done by now, but one thing I am doing is making videos with athletes and celebrities for social media. And so I'll have lots of fun stuff.
Oh, good, Liz. So post those away. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, wait a minute. We have an Instagram feed you can use. Wait a minute. What are we thinking? At Sad Sisters. Go for it.
At Sad Sisters. Yeah. Okay. You're on. I will make sure there's some fun stuff there. So this all leads up to our guest for today, right? Because we thought, okay, this is our Satellite Sisters Sports Spectacular for the summer of 2022. Who could we get that would really bring it? And it's, as I said, track and field slash athletics, biggest event of the year worldwide. So, I mean, I know a little bit, but our guest today, Sanya Richards-Ross, she knows everything. So she's one of the key voices on the NBC broadcast team, as well as herself being an Olympic and world champion sprinter. She was born in Jamaica, moved to the USA when she was young, and always competed for the USA. And Sanya serves with me on the board of directors of Oregon 22 too. So it's been fun to get to know her over the last few years. And it's also, that's why I had her email address so we could get her to come on the show.
Good work, Liz.
Yeah. Woo.
That's the key. That's the key, Joel. But here's the thing. In addition to Sanya, she's got it all going on. In addition to being on the biggest sporting event of the year, she's also the newest cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So have you ever wondered, Julie, what it's really like to be on one of those shows?
No, well, yes and no. But but I look forward to hearing what she has to say about it.
Yes.
Or why she did this. Yes.
I think Sonya's our first housewife. We've
think
never
she
had a
is.
housewife on
Right.
the show.
No.
Okay. Well, so we have Sanya Richards-Ross. She's going to spill a little tea on what that experience, being a housewife behind the scenes, what's that really like? So Sanya's up next.
Liz, I want to focus on you for a moment. How are you feeling? How are things going? If your answer is anything less than amazing, I want to help, Liz. Our partners at Calm have the tools you need to feel your best. And I think you could really thrive by listening to Calm. Have you downloaded Calm yet, Liz? Have you tried it?
I have downloaded it, Leanne. I want to make it a habit. I haven't made it a habit yet, but I always, when I'm falling asleep, I listen to something. Normally a podcast, sometimes the news. Don't listen to the news when you're trying to fall asleep. Listen to Calm. Listen to Calm. That's my new goal, Leanne.
That's right.
Calm myself at the end of every day as I drift off into slumber.
I mean, truly, Liz, I've been using the Calm app for 3 years. It has made a huge difference in my life. I use it to meditate. I listen to the sleep stories. They just have the calming soundtrack if you want. I like even the movement videos they have at the end of the day. I do the stretching and relaxing. They have just 10, 15-minute movement videos. It really helps to reduce stress and anxiety. Guided meditations. You can improve your focus. Liz, how's your focus these days?
Not good.
Okay.
Leanne.
Okay.
Well, let's just say this could always be better. Let's say that.
They have curated music tracks and you can to help you focus at your work. And then of course they have these sleep stories. That's the perfect way to fall asleep. And I just think you're going to really enjoy it, Liz. I think
Sounds like it's everything I need, Leanne.
I didn't want to say that, Liz, but I think it is. So Liz, here's what you do. You're going to go to calm.com/satellite because Calm is offering 40% off a Calm premium subscription and new content is added every week. Over 100 million people around the world use Calm to take care of their minds, Liz. 100 million. That's a lot of people, Liz. You could be one of them.
Yep.
Calm is ready to help you stress less, sleep more, and live a happier, healthier life. If that sounds like you, Liz, or any of you, Satellite Sisters, Misters, and Smisters, here's what you do. For listeners of Satellite Sisters, Calm is offering that exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/satellite. Okay, Calm is CALM, calm.com, and satellite is SATE, 2 L's, I, 1 TE. It's tricky. Satellite's tricky spelling. So we got calm.com/satellite for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Liz, get Calm. Get calm.com/satellite.
I'm on board, Leanne.
FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame your favorite things without ever leaving the house. You can add a gallery wall to your home office, or how about an easy foolproof gift, especially for all those weddings you have coming up. From art prints and posters to photos sitting on your phone, you can FrameBridge just about anything. Okay, Julie, you and I like to talk about home decor. We talked about freshening up the
Yes.
You pitch that story almost every other week, how to freshen up the home, right?
I mean, yes, we have to, Leanne. I mean, you constantly have to evolve. Okay. And don't you have just stuff in your closet that would look better on the walls? Yeah. Than in the closet.
Yes. I mean, my son, Colin, gave me a beautiful poster from the Museum of Modern Art. Nice. It was a lovely, print of Calder. It was a high cost print, a nice lithograph. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It sat in a tube in my office for a year. And then I finally got my act together. I went to framebridge.com. I looked at all the beautiful frames they had. I chose my favorite. I got free recommendations from their talented designers.
Nice.
And then they sent me the shipping tube. I sent it back to them. And then when it arrived, it is spectacular. It looks fantastic. It has refreshed my home, Julie, in a way I could not have.
I can hear it in your voice. You just being in that refreshed home, Leanne. I can hear it. But just think about, you have pictures on your phone, Leanne. Yeah. I mean, this is summertime. You're making new memories. People are out and about. Okay. How nice to make a little gift or to make a new wall with, I want to do more pictures with my grandchildren up on a wall. I have a family wall, and I'm going to, with my FrameBridge app.
Do it, Lit. Do it, Joel. Whoever you are, do it.
You're so refreshed. You've eliminated me from the family, but I'm still your sister. So
yes,
carry on with this ad. Yes.
Okay. So here's what you're going to do, Joel. You're going to get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code SATSisters to save an additional 15% off your first order. That's right. Framebridge.com, promo code SATSisters. Framebridge.com, promo code SATSisters.
Okay, we're back. Joining us now is our sports spectacular satellite sister, Sanya Richards-Ross, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 5-time world champion, NBC broadcaster for this week's World Track and Field Championships, and the newest cast member this season, a Real Housewives of Atlanta. Sanya, I gotta say, when I look at everything you are up to, is there some kind of career heptathlete medal that we can... Welcome to Satellite Sisters.
Thank you so much, Liz. Alina, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I don't think I am in a heptathlon race. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but they always say Jamaicans have 7 jobs. Well, here I am holding that true.
Okay. It's a Jamaican thing.
It's a Jamaican thing.
All right. Well, we do have a lot to cover and not too much time. So we're going to start with the World Championships.
Yes.
Because that's 10 days of live television for you starting this week. So are you ready? Or as the athletes would say, are you peaking at the right time, Sanya? Are you peaking right now?
I am peaking right now. And I am over the moon excited that the World Championships are on American soil. What a big deal this is for the athletes and for all of us. And, it's our goal at NBC and as broadcasters to make the meet as big, as grandiose as we can, and to really celebrate the great performances that we'll see over these 10 days. So I really can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, we love track and field. We talk about it all the time on Satellite Sisters. So it's just unexpected, but we don't care.
Considering we're slow white girls, basically. So I'll just point out the obvious.
But, obviously you were a star in the sport and now you broadcast the sport. What makes track and field so special to you?
Oh man, that's such a great question. I think I've been asked so many questions. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that before. I think that track and field is so special because it is kind of that mano-y-mano, you versus me. It's almost like that, the thing that when you were a kid, it's like, you're not faster than me, and it's like that
race you to the tree. Yeah.
Yes, it's like that ultimate test of physical and mental strength. Yeah. And I think for me, the 400 was supremely special because it really pushed you mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I learned so much from the 400 about how to live my whole life. And so, I just think track and field is beautiful because anybody can participate. There is sprinting, there is the distance, there's the throws, there's the jumps. It's so diverse, it's so inclusive. And I think that's what really makes our sport so special.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's something for everyone, every body type, every skill level. So, but one of the reasons I love listening to you as an analyst, Sanya, is that you get so excited about every athlete and every event. And not only do you have your facts down, you have it down, but you really have your heart in every single race.
I really do. I absolutely love what I get to do. I've always loved the sport. I'm a fan of the sport. And I feel like what I just want the viewers to feel is just how amazing these performances are. I used to feel when I watched track and field prior, they always would talk about maybe your past failures or, things that I felt didn't really elevate the athletes we were watching. And so I've kind of made it my goal to really allow the viewers to understand how incredible the performances are, how dedicated these athletes are to their craft, and that they should be celebrated. So I genuinely get really excited to see the performances.
That really comes through in your broadcasting. Were you nervous making that transition to the booth from after years of being interviewed yourself? Was it a weird transition or were you ready?
Leanne, I don't think I had time to be nervous.
Okay.
I literally in 2016, I was going for my final Olympics. I had 3 surgeries on my right big toe at this point. I had already decided this was going to be my final year on the track because my quality of life was equally as important to me as my success on the track. And it was just really becoming difficult to train and all of those things. I remember at the Olympic trials when I had pulled my hamstring the week before and I didn't finish running. Lewis Johnson asked me in my interview, he says, you've done so well on the track. Like, what will you do next? And I said, I want to start a family. I want to write a book and I'd love to start commentating, become a broadcaster. And I was in the booth 3 days later.
Oh my God.
I literally had time.
And now Lewis is your broadcast partner. And now you work with Lewis every day.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
That's
Wow.
amazing. That's a great story. Well, you were ready then. You were totally ready.
My people ask me, and I say for the last 2 years of my career, I really started to think about my life post track and field. Like I was like, I have so much to contribute to the world. I'm so much more than an athlete. And so, yes, I was emotionally, spiritually ready for the transition. I didn't think it would happen that fast. But it was amazing.
Well, one of the things that really comes through with you too is that, I mean, the athletes, their coaches, their families, you're rooting for every single one to have the best race they possibly can. So I always wonder what it feels like to you when someone really does not have a good day on the track, or they don't have the race they expected, or they don't make the team. I was thinking this year, Gabby Thomas might be a really good example. She was such a breakout star in the 200 last year at the Olympics and didn't even make the team this year. And I saw her crying in her interviews afterwards, and my heart really broke for her. And I thought, how do you, as a professional, but also as a supporter, how do you talk to an athlete after an experience like that?
Yeah, I mean, I am like you, Liz. My heart breaks so often for athletes who have, these big dreams and it just seems like everything was perfect and then it doesn't work out. But I also relate to them because I've had very similar experiences myself. And I think it's an easier conversation for me to have with athletes than most because I've been there. I failed on the largest stage in 2008 and it was crushing. But I also know what it looks like to rebound. And so I always go in and, of course, I hold their hand in that moment because I know you don't really want to hear about the future right then. You just want somebody to be and sit with you. I remember this with Kenny Harrison when she didn't make the podium. And it's not easy, but I always, even with Gabby works with Tanja Buford Bailey, who I'm really close with. That's her coach in Texas. And I talked to Tanja after the race and, she was struggling with a little bit of a hamstring injury. So it wasn't a surprise to them that she didn't run as well. But it's still heartbreaking because you don't have any more time. You don't get to say, oh, well, I did bronze from last year. Can I just get a chance? It just doesn't work that way. And so, I just try to share my experiences with them and tell them that the best is still yet to come and, keep believing in yourself. Don't give up. But yeah, it's hard sometimes in the booth. Like I have to sometimes put the cough on because I'm so emotional. Like sometimes like, oh my God, like this is, just because I don't want the audience to hear. But yeah, I'm very vested in their success as well.
Yeah. Well, that comes through. So on the bright side, let's talk about, tell us, who are the women you are most excited to see this year in the World Championships? Whose bandwagon should we get on right now, Sanya?
Well, a lot of the young stars who had phenomenal meets in Tokyo will be back, right? Like I know you guys will agree watching a Thing Mo compete. I mean, she is just
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I loved how Ajay Wilson pushed her and really also to me found her confidence. Like Ajay Wilson is a force to be reckoned with herself. And it's like she just, remembered who she was at that at the World Championship qualifiers, the U.S. Nationals. And so to me, that makes for a very compelling race with her, Keely Hodgkinson's and Ajay Wilson. So I'm super excited about the women's 800.
Right. The women's 800. Okay. Number one.
Obviously, Sydney McLaughlin in 400 hurdles. To see her break the world record. I mean, every big final she's been in, she's broken the world record. Like that
is a good habit. I think, don't you always say winning is a habit? I think I've heard you say that.
You're listening closely.
Yes.
Winning is a habit, and I guess breaking the world record is a habit too. And Sydney McLaughlin does it every time. So I'm excited to see her. Dalila Muhammad, who obviously had the bye, so she didn't have to compete. So she, was is going to be there as well. I'm looking forward to that matchup. And the newest breakout star, Abby Steiner, in the women's 200.
Yeah, fun to see her. Fun. That was fun to see her run last week.
Yeah, I was looking forward to the Gabby Abby matchup. Obviously, Gabby wasn't able to be at her best, but I'm so excited that we have such a great representative in Abby. She's obviously had a very long season, which sometimes you'll see that hamper the collegiate stars just a bit when they go to the World Championships, albeit it's a little bit earlier in the year as opposed to normally this meets a month later. So I'm excited to see how she fares against the Jamaicans. And then
Okay. Then let's talk about the Jamaicans.
Okay.
For God's sakes, what is the Jamaican secret? What the Jamaicans are amazing, Sanya.
I mean, it is insane. I have my theories as to why I think the Jamaicans are so good. And some of them I think are credible. Some are just a little bit, when crazy things are happening, you have crazy reasons for it, right?
Okay.
But so a couple of the real logical reasons I think that Jamaicans do so well in track and field is that it is the most popular sport on the island. So you find that the best athletes gravitate towards the sport. In the United States, the best athletes may not end up in track and field. They might go to baseball or basketball or, football, especially on the men's side. So I think that's a part of why you see such phenomenal athletes in track and field in Jamaica. I also think because of the great history and legacy of the sport, the coaches, like when I was 7, I was being coached by the national coach. Like he was coaching Veronica Campbell, Merlene Adi. So imagine that wealth of knowledge being passed on, and you're being tutored at 7 by the best coaches on the island. So that's also a huge benefit. People also
that's something, because like our athletes are coached by their dads at
right.
Or someone else's dad, which is even worse.
Right. So that definitely gives them an edge. People always talk about the great food, right? The food is just a natural food that grows on the island. There's very few preservatives and all those kinds of things. So people say that.
That's so interesting about the coaching and the food. I would not have put all of that together. But here we go. Let's switch gears now to talk about your new role as a Real Housewife, because I want to know, which is harder for you, Sanya, competing in your first Olympics or being a new cast member on Real Housewives of Atlanta? I mean, towing the line with that lineup, I frankly thought, oh my God, Sanya is too nice for this. But turns out you're not. Turns out you're not too nice.
So I'm definitely going to say that the Housewives of Atlanta is definitely harder than the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like I was born to run. I don't know if I was born for this. There has been so many unexpected twists and turns on this journey so far. And I'm definitely here for the ride, but it's been very interesting. But I am enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. And I really went onto the platform to create genuine relationships. How's
that going?
Yeah, some is working, some's not. Some people aren't signed up for the same things I'm signed up for. So it's been
okay, well, I loved you had a flex earlier this season where you brought out your gold medals. And there was some pushback from the Housewives. They thought that was a little bit too much of a flex, and they accused you of being a clout chaser. And your answer, which I loved, just like, I am the clout. I am. Good for you.
You have to let people know, right? I'm like, I actually was really hurt by that. I was really hurt when Drew insinuated that I was clout chasing, because I think sometimes people forget just how hard it is to become an Olympic gold medalist. And ironically, I was doing a speech the other day and someone else said the number. It's like 0.000000003% chance that you'll ever become an Olympic champion. I was like, I get to remind these housewives that it's no easy feat to do what I have done, but no, it's par for the course on this show.
Is it fun to do? I mean, are you having fun? Okay.
I definitely had a lot more fun than it might appear.
Okay.
And
Well, right. I mean, the editing, you could be having a completely different experience than what the editor
Exactly.
chooses. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think the best parts for me, obviously, are my moments with my family, which I
Yes.
absolutely love. Getting to show my family, my mom and dad are here, my sister. Those are my favorite parts. Obviously, it's a little bit tricky with the girls sometimes because there's, misunderstandings. I genuinely always try to come from a good place, but I do try to stand my ground, and bring a different flavor to the show. But it definitely has been fun.
I was surprised that your mom and your sister moved in with you. That also seems like a lot of multi-generational
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how's that going?
Still going great. So here's what happened. We lived in Texas for 13 years. My mom actually moved when I was a sophomore in college. My mom and dad moved to Texas, and we lived about 5 minutes away from each other. And then COVID happened, and we were at my mom's house every day. Like, we were basically quarantining together because we weren't going anywhere else. We weren't really hanging out in the house. And I was like, this wasn't all that bad. And so when I decided that I wanted to move to Atlanta, my mom and dad were like, hey, we're going to go back to Florida because we had never intended to live in Austin, Texas. And my sister was planning to possibly move to Dallas. And so I said, hey, wait, before we all break up the band, why not try Atlanta and see if you guys like it? And so far, I think my mom and dad are sold. I think they're going to buy a house here. My sister's still on the fence. But to be very honest with you, as crazy as it sounds, I love living with my family. Like,
That's neat.
yeah, it's especially because I travel so much, I work so much. Like, when I leave my son, he's still at home, has the same routines. I don't have any other kids. He's an only child. So he's growing up with his cousins, which is just like, it's like, I honestly couldn't ask for a better situation. I don't know if they would say the same. That's how I feel.
All right. I read that in the second half of the season, did I get this right, that the whole cast is going to Jamaica?
Yeah.
So now you have the whole cast on your home soil. That must be an advantage.
Well, it was sometimes, and other times you'd be like, you're not using this to your advantage, my friend. You are getting beat down. But it was really fun because it was my trip. I got to invite the girls on my trip to Jamaica. I was actually going there to work with the company iFit that I've done some incredible workout routes, sessions with. I love that the brand is just amazing. And so they brought the entire cast down, and it was nice because they got to really understand more about my culture. We went to the track. There's actually a race on the track. Like, I think for my fans, for people who love it, know and love me, they're really going to appreciate, seeing those couple episodes with the cast there. But woo, they act up on cast trips. That's all you get.
Okay, so Leon and I were talking about like the spirit of sisterhood, because that's what Satellite Sisters is about, Sanya, as you know. And Leon, you were making the point, like, who's got the bigger sense of sisterhood? Is it the fellow cast members or a relay team? Right,
Yeah,
Leon?
I was rewatching some of your races to prep. We do prep too, and so. That 4x400 in Beijing was amazing. That come from behind win. You beat the Russians, that team. I mean, I'm crying at the end. So is that more of a sisterhood? Is there any bad blood between the relay people, or is it all forgiven?
Another great question. The sisterhood is definitely stronger on the relay. And the bad blood is all forgiven. So obviously, track and field is tricky because up until we run the relay together, most of the times we're rivals, right? Like, we're lining up in the individuals, and you want to beat the person who you're teaming up with at the end of the meet. But there's something about that relay that is just magical, and all is forgiven. And you have this great appreciation for your teammates because you actually hope on that day that they're better than you. Like, I want you to be your very best on this day, so you really pull for each other. And there was something like when we walked out in that USA uniform, we felt like we were superheroes. And it was like, you guys are not going to beat us. We don't care who you are or where you're from. And then, that's something that's very hard to recreate. So I wish that we could model that for my sisters on The Housewives, because they were able to go through that.
We're looking forward to that next season. Some kind of race. Yes, a relay race. Yes, a relay race. So in the show, we get glimpses of your husband, NFL quarterback Aaron Ross, and your son, Aaron Ross II, who you called Deucey. which I think is so cute. So final question, are they going to be with you in Eugene? I mean, World Champ starts in 2 days. Did they go with you or is it all work, no time with mommy?
No, so my husband and son wanted to come. My husband ended up last minute having to take a trip. And so they're not sure if they're going to come, but I'm hoping they'll come for the final few days of the World Championships. I always tell them for the best days, like, that my husband would probably enjoy the most are the first 2 or 3 or the last 2 or 3, because the 100, 400s and then the 4x4 relays. So at this point, it looks like they may come for the end of the meet, but they did travel with me when I was broadcasting the other day, and we've been, trying to spend time together while I'm on the road. So it's been great, but we'll just have to see if this one will work out. And I hope it does. I love when they come to the meets.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I'll be there the whole time, but Leanne, you and your family are coming up for the final weekend, right?
Right. I'll be there. I'll be there the final weekend. So if your family doesn't show,
Yes.
my family can still.
I got my satellite sisters.
You've always got your satellite sisters. Thank you so much, Sanya, for talking to us before the meet really starts. So good luck, everyone. Just know NBC, that's where you'll find Sanya. We will post the broadcast schedule in the Satellite Sisters Facebook page. Leanne, maybe you can put it in the newsletter too. Yep. But Sanya's the one. So Sanya tells you what you need to know, whether you know a lot about track and field or you don't. Listen to your sister, Sanya.
Thank you so much for having me. This was delightful.
Our pleasure. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Liz and Julie, it's a happy day when you open your front door and that big green chef box is there, isn't it?
I love it.
There it is.
Doesn't it always seem to come at exactly the right time when you just, what am I going to make for dinner? Ding dong, a Green Chef's here. Okay. Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals that are delicious. Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preferences. Liz, you're our longest Green Chef practitioner. What are you making this week? What's in the box this week?
I am. I'm a green pea falafel practitioner tonight, Leanne. Yes, I was just looking at my cards. I get 3 meals a week and I try to stay in the vegetarian, plant-powered world. And so tonight I'll be making one of my favorites, green pea falafel with a nice tahini dressing. It's really fun to make, which is important. And that's the kind of thing that I would never put all those ingredients together on my own. That just is too complicated. But this is so simple. It's all there in the box. Perfect portion control, always delicious.
With seasonal produce, premium proteins, and organic ingredients you can trust, Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And with Green Chef, you can expect elevated fare. That's what you get.
Yes.
Consistent, top-notch quality featuring premium ingredients and sustainably sourced produce. And you get all those delicious sauces. You just get a lot of good sauces.
Layers and layers of flavor. That's what I like about Green Chef. Yes.
Okay. I think we've said it all. So here's what you do. If you want to take advantage of this great offer that Green Chef has this week for Satellite Sisters listeners, go to greenchef.com/sisters135 and use code sisters135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes. And your first box ships free. That's greenchef.com/sisters135 and use code sisters135 to get $135 off across 5 boxes. And your first box ships free. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Wow. I just love talking to Sanya. You can see why she's so great on TV, can't you? She just is so warm and enthusiastic and positive. She's the best.
But she is really good at her job on television. She makes a big difference in that booth too. Yep.
Yeah. I can't believe she got that gig like 3 weeks after she stopped being an athlete. That's
crazy.
An amazing story. I had no idea. All right. So we are going to have a link in the show notes about everywhere you can watch the World Championships between July 14th and 25th. But there's one key tip. Every single event, NBC does the whole thing. So every single event will be on Peacock, but Those telecasts, the Peacock telecasts, are what's known as the world feed. So that's the coverage that gets produced for the rest of the world. So it does not feature the NBC talent. It's still great, but no Sanya, right?
Okay.
So-
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to see why we love Sanya, you have to watch the NBC coverage. So the NBC broadcast team does all the coverage that you can see on NBC, CNBC, and USA Network. I know it sounds complicated, but the schedule we have lays it out really simply. And if you're watching, we're going to be sitting in section 217. So watch out for that.
Okay. With a sign, you're gonna have some kind of sign, a flag.
Okay, good
Come on.
idea. Some kind of flag.
Yeah, satellite sister sign. Yeah, I mean,
I
you're
can
the
bring that sign. I'll bring that. I'll bring
You're
that
the
sign.
marketing genius, Liz. Come on. Okay.
I'll bring that sign that that Cheryl brought me in Santa Fe. I got it.
Oh,
I got a
good.
foam core sign already. I'm on it.
Okay.
I'll bring it. While you're at the track and field championships for the first week, Julie and I are going to be holding down the fort here at Satellite Sisters HQ. Next week on the show, we're happy to welcome longtime listener and nutritionist Stephanie Weaver. She's going to join us to talk about her new cookbook, the Migraine Relief Plan Cookbook. Stephanie has been a longtime migraine sufferer, and she has helped to combat that with diet and lifestyle changes. And she has a lot of knowledge in this area. Migraines are so common. Stephanie is going to walk us through her personal journey and then share a couple of her favorite recipes and nutritional tips for how she's worked to combat her migraine. So I'm really looking forward to talking.
Me
to
too,
her.
Lee. And I think this will be very valuable. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we know people that have migraine, and it is rough. So I'm happy that we're having Stephanie on. Looking forward to that. So join us next week. Julie and I will be with Stephanie Weaver. All right, Jill, entertaining sisters. Ba-doom, ba-doom. You've been working on this list for months now.
For months now. Okay. I mean, well, when you think about top sports movies, okay, your favorite of all time, I wanted to pick out some of my favorites for this Satellite Sisters Summer Sports Spectacular. Okay, we have to start number one slot, A League of Their Own. Okay. This is a Satellite Sister solid gold choice. The movie has everything: sisters, baseball, Gina Davis, Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna in the center field, and Tom Hanks telling the players there's no crying in baseball, right?
I had forgotten Madonna was in that.
Yes,
yeah,
Madonna,
yes.
she's in center field. Yes. And do you realize the movie is celebrating its 30th anniversary?
I saw that. That's neat. I like these movie celebrations. I'm down for those.
Okay,
Great.
so
Okay.
so put that on your list.
Good
My
choice.
second favorite is sort of a little more unusual. Bend It Like Beckham. Did you ever
Oh.
see this movie? It's
Yeah.
a
Many times.
wonderful coming of age, cultural assimilation, girl power story about Jess who wants to play soccer like her idol, David Beckham, but she struggles to respect her traditional Indian family values. It's set in England. And hello, I had forgotten this. Keira Knightley, okay,
Yes.
who I cannot see kicking a soccer ball at all. She plays Jess's best friend and is on the team. And if you're a David Beckham fan, okay, he has a cute cameo in this.
Who is
good
not
choice.
a David Beckham fan? Come on.
Okay,
Good
all right.
choice.
Okay, then we came to another baseball one, and my husband just was like, "Well, you have to put Field of Dreams on there, because we have seen it, I don't know, 100 times." But I went with Bull Durham. Okay, and it was really one reason why I went with Bull Durham. It's one of my favorite baseball movies. But it's the kitchen scene with
Yes.
Susan Sarandon and Kevin Costner. Okay,
Super
that's it.
sexy.
Okay,
Sexy.
that's it. Right. Woo. Yeah. But the movie is all about baseball. It's very deep on the topic of baseball, but it also has such a nice, easy breezy romantic comedy to it. So I love that. Okay. I also love Rocky. Okay.
Oh,
What about
Rocky's-
Rocky 1? Rocky 1, the first one. Do you realize how groundbreaking that was? Okay. It's the ultimate underdog movie, right?
Yeah.
And that is the best theme song ever. Like, don't you still use that music sometimes to get yourself going?
I have
Almost
tiger.
every aerobics class I've ever been in, even my pool aerobics, they use the Rocky theme.
I mean, it was all there. And Talia Shire, I mean, she just shines in that movie. I mean, I know it's the other ones, who knows? I know it's debated, but the original was priceless. Okay.
Yeah, I remember Mom taking us to see that, Julie.
You do? Oh, okay.
No
Okay,
idea
good.
what year that was, but it's like we went to a movie theater in Bridgeport, Connecticut to see that movie. Yeah.
Okay. Rocky, you were there. Okay. What about Hoop Dreams? Have you seen that movie?
yes.
Listen,
Yes. Loved that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is such an excellent documentary following two young Chicago-based basketball prospects that are trying to like break out of out of the city, use their athletic talents to get a better life. But these two stars, they face racism, poverty, injury. They're just roadblocks after roadblocks on their journey to make their dreams come true. It's a documentary, but it will leave you in tears, and it's just one of the best things ever done. Don't you think?
Agreed.
Yes.
A great documentary.
Okay, so you got three sisters in agreement about that. The next one, how about the original Friday Night Lights, Leanne? I mean, long before there was Kyle Chandler as Coach Eric Taylor, there was Billy Bob Thornton and Tim McGraw's in the original movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and it follows the coach and the players of a high school football team in Odessa, Texas. And I guess because I'm a transplant to Texas, I have come to appreciate what Friday Night Football means to a lot of Texas communities, how it brings them together. And so this movie is much more about culture than football. The documentarian style film work is a little dizzying at certain points, but this is well worth it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
good
I
one.
preferred the TV show because I'm not a Billy Bob Thornton fan, but it's a fine choice,
Leanne,
Julie.
you have been since the opening Marco
Okay, I'm
Polo.
just-
You have not liked a single thing. Okay. I don't want to hear your opinion of this next one. Usually I'm happy to.
Marco.
Okay.
Marco.
Paula.
Okay. This is my surprise final choice. Bad News Bears. Okay.
Oh, it was
Okay.
a good one. That's a
Oh,
great
come
movie.
on. Haven't we all been on a team for
Yeah.
work or play where you feel like you're with a group of misfits or outcasts? I mean, this movie is about kids who never even expected to care about competing or winning. Tatum O'Neal is in it. Okay.
Tatum.
She's that star pitcher, Walter Matthau. He plays an alcoholic ex-baseball pitcher. He's pretty funny as the coach, but it's the ending involving a championship game and a big celebration that is just, it's priceless. So I don't know.
Good choice. Julie.
I had to go with Bad News Bears. If you were going to pick a movie other than these, what would you guys have picked for the list?
A huge fan of Breaking Away. Remember that movie
yeah.
about the cyclists in Indiana, the kid from Indiana who's just enamored of the Italian cyclists. I just love that movie. That's kind of a cult classic. And then, I'd like to see my sport represented, and that would be figure skating. So I love the rom-com, The Cutting Edge, about the
Yeah.
warring
Okay.
pair skaters. Come on.
How about Blades of Glory, Lee, and the Will Ferrell Blades
No.
of Glory?
No,
Okay.
that's
Liz.
disrespectful to my sport, Liz.
It
The
has to
Cutting
be-
Edge, Liz, is a much better version of that.
Liz, do you have a favorite track and field movie
you know,
or something?
Well, favorite track and field movie, as a matter of fact, Without Limits is a fantastic movie made at the University of Oregon. It's about Steve Prefontaine.
Oh, that is a
Stars
good
Bill
movie.
Bowerman.
Oh, I
Oh.
like that movie. Good choice, Liz. But
Really
you ha-
super good movie. But then for other sports movies, I thought, okay, one drama, one comedy. The drama, it's hard to beat Robert Redford in Downhill Racer Sisters. Come on. That's a good one. You know,
Okay.
that it's Robert Redford in his prime, in his youth,
Okay.
with downhill skiing. So
And in those stretch ski pants. Yeah. yeah.
really good.
Okay.
That is a good movie. That represents that sport very well, I think. And then I don't know, does Caddyshack count as a
Yes,
It was
absolutely.
yeah, okay.
almost on my list. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still fresh when you watch that
Yes.
movie. So,
Yeah. I mean,
All
don't
right.
worry. You just have to, you have to smile. So those would be my one serious, one silly choice.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, Julie, it's an excellent list. I'm sure people will want to add to it. We're going to put the full list in Pep Talk this week, but you should, feel free to carry on the Facebook page. I'm sure people will have many, many titles to add. It's fun to think about things. There've been a lot of great sports movies, but you know what's better than sports movies? Sports. Also excellent, excellent drama. You never know the ending. You never know the ending.
Right.
That's
different
what
every
makes,
time.
That's what makes sports so great. All right, just a quick mention. Julie Foudy, the US soccer player, she has a really fun podcast called Laughter Permitted, where she just laughs a lot, but she's super smart. She has a lot of great athletes on, and then coaches and people who have been in and around sports for a long time. But she did a whole series of podcasts on Title IX because it's the 50th anniversary of Title IX this year. And so everything from talking to lawyers, talking to coaches and journalists, all kinds of aspects of Title IX, but she just has a very simple and straightforward conversation with her good friend Mia Hamm, and both of them were beneficiaries of the early days of Title IX. And so to hear them talk about the fact that there were no teams for them to play on when they were younger. They had to play on the boys' teams. There were no soccer scholarships. Like none of the infrastructure existed. It was just kind of getting started. It just really took me back to what some of these female pioneer athletes went through and how important their contribution was, and what a huge difference even from 1999 to 2022 there is in terms of women's participation and your ability as a fan to watch women's sports and to have women's sports be covered. There's still a long way to go, but it's a fun series of podcasts. Laughter Permitted is the name of Julie Foudy's podcast. So you can find it wherever you're listening to this podcast, except if you're listening at satellitesisters.com, which many people do, but we'll put a thing in the show notes.
Hey, as long as we're talking about women, one thing I didn't put in the outline, on Monday the 18th at the World Championships, there's a special salute to the women of the sport, the women who pioneered the sport, and also to Title IX. So Joni Benoit Samuelson will be there, Jackie Joyner Kersey will be there, Catherine Switzer, the first woman to run in the Boston Marathon, will be there. So that'll be a special moment during the day on Monday, but I'm sure that will make the television coverage Monday night. So you can watch out for that.
You know what? You should also put it on our Instagram.
Yeah, just do what Liam says, Liz.
Okay, apparently I am going to be a media outlet at this event. Okay, all right.
Well, it sounds like you have some access.
I do.
So, yeah,
I do. Yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed on the field though, but I have other access.
All right, we're wrapping up here. I just want to mention I happen to be on 2 different podcasts this week. It was just a unusual scheduling. One is Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books by Zibby Owens. Yeah, it's a fun podcast. She gets lots of great authors. I'm happy to talk to her. It's a wide-ranging conversation about my book, but then we also talk about podcasting and our love of newsletters and my next book. So it was always fun to talk to Zibby. I'll put links to that around. And then this week, I'm also talking to our friends over at Happier in Hollywood, Liz and Sarah. They are thinking about writing a novel. So I talked to them about the process of fiction writing. So it's a very different conversation with them.
Oh, fun.
About like how you
that sounds
actually
like a good conversation.
write a book. So that's this week. I'm having a big week outside of Satellite Sisters. It's my World Championships this week, Liz.
Okay.
Good for you.
All
Congrats.
right. We would like to thank Sanya Richards-Ross for making time for us. Really, she's a busy woman, so we appreciated that. Thanks to Sergio Enriquez for putting together our show and Emily Loudermilk for doing our great graphics. All right, on our to-do list. Julie, what do you got?
I have to get a new sports bra, which is like the worst shopping chore ever. Like, how do you even try them on? Because they just are like so much compression. I don't know. It's got to happen.
Okay. Liz, how about you?
Well, I also have a wardrobe issue because one of the things I'm going to be at this sporting event for the next 10 days and you're sitting outside in the heat. So you want to be like super cool. But then again, I have to be a little bit dressed up because I'm on the board of directors. And so occasionally I have to go schmooze with sportocrats from around the world.
Put it on our Instagram, Liz. Put it on the Instagram.
That's the worst wardrobe assignment, what they call smart casual. And like, I'm just not good at being smart casual. I'm a casual is fine,
And you're smart.
And
but-
you're smart.
And
Yeah.
smart. But smart casual as a look when you're also sitting outside all day. I don't know. I have to figure it out. So working on that.
Okay. Well, we are going to the World Championships. We're going for the last weekend, and it is a massive movement of people and dogs and furniture and all kinds of things. So I'm going to explain that all on next week's show. But this week for me is all about getting ourselves to Eugene, Oregon for the World Championships. So we're looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Yay. Section 217 awaits you.
Woo! All right, everybody. Sisters, have a great week.
You too. Good luck, Liz. Good
Yeah,
luck,
good
Ian.
luck. Liz.
Thank you.
All right. Don't forget, call your satellite sister.